Yes, sir. We're officially back at it. This is Boog Nice coming at you with the Marvel Legends 80th Anniversary Stan Lee figure review. Let's do it.
This ain't for no scalper. You a scalper? Then fuck out shit. This one's for them real collectors. That's army building and posing figures. Marvel Legends, imports, mini matey, I'm fucking with them. Hype beast, we know about you. Stay buying figs, don't know about you.
And a quick look at the side of the box. You can see it says Excelsior in big, bold lettering, and then there's Stan Lee's signature. And the same thing on the opposite side. And a quick look at the front of the packaging. You can see it says Legends Series up at the top. We've got Stan completely visible through the clamshell, the Marvel logo, his signature on the front of the package, and it says Stan Lee at the very bottom. Hasbro logo. Let's get this bad boy open and see what's what. All right, here we go. Marvel Legends Stan Lee. On the back of the package, it says inspired by Stan Lee's cameo as a skeptical chess player in Marvel's The Avengers. Born in Manhattan on December 28th, 1922, Stan Lee has to be one of the most recognizable and iconic comic book writers, editors, and publishers known to man. He came up through the ranks to become one of Marvel Comics' lead collaborators and creators, and he also collaborated with iconic legend Jack Kirby and Steve Ditko to create some of the superheroes that we know and love, like Spider-Man, the X-Men, Iron Man, Thor, Hulk, Black Widow, Fantastic Four, Black Panther, Daredevil, Doctor Strange, Scarlet Witch, and Ant-Man. The thing that was special about Stan Lee was that he was hands-on, he was involved. Not only was he an iconic creator, but he was sort of like the face of Marvel. He was very active and moving around until his last day. He passed on November 12th, 2018 at the age of 95 years old. And up until that point, he had made an appearance, a cameo appearance in I think every Marvel movie. So this is why they reference his appearance in the Avengers movie on the back of the package. It would be cool to see Hasbro Marvel Legends do more figures of Stan Lee in accordance with his cameos in all of the Marvel movies. That would be really dope. So technically, this is our second Stan Lee figure from Marvel Legends. The first was a SDCC exclusive, but it was like a shared body with Spider-Man. You had like Stan Lee dressed in his old man gear. When you remove that gear, you had Spider-Man underneath, and you could swap on a Peter Parker head and a Spider-Man head. That particular body, though, for Spider-Man was super duper awkward. I have it here somewhere. Maybe I'll be able to break it out. But I made sure that I extracted the head from that pack, the Stan Lee head, to compare to this one, which looks pretty good. I think they did a really good job on this. I like that they gave him the shades and the smile. I think they pretty much nailed his likeness. And they didn't make him look too old and feeble. He still looks virile. And yeah, I think this was a good body mold for him as well. And one of his like iconic outfits. And it looks like they intended to use this setup as far as the jacket, the shirt, the pants for Stan Lee for quite some time. Because I can remember the Stan Lee figure was teased some time back, or it was leaked. Some images were leaked, and it looked like he was going to be part of a Build-A-Figure wave. I think you were going to need like Ross and Killmonger and a Black Panther, only like a few figures to complete him. And when New York Toy Fair came around after those images were released, Hasbro was pretty tight-lipped about it. They wouldn't say anything about it. I'm not sure what was going on with that, but we knew at that point that we were definitely going to get a Stan Lee at some point, but they just weren't letting the cat out of the bag yet. So yeah, this sort of setup was in the making for Stan for quite some time, and then it looks like they used this same sort of deco for Peter Parker from the Retro Collection series. I'll get him in here for a comparison shortly, but they just changed up the footwear and, you know, the color scheme. As you saw, Stan is packed in with this little briefcase. You can see the clips here in the front. No real crazy detail to this. It's cool. It's a nice little prop. And he's also packed in with this Captain America shield with his signature on the front. I thought this was a cool touch. I like that. I like that they used the bigger, more detailed shield too, because sometimes they use those little small shields with the clip on the back. But this is one of the ones from the movie Captain America, if I'm not mistaken. Nice finish to it, nice and shiny. It looks good. And yes, Stan Lee's head and hands are removable. So if you wanted to do some head swaps or some hand swaps, you surely can. Decent articulation on Stan Lee. He can look down, he can look up, left to right, full 360, pivot on the head. You know, that's good for the expression for when you get one of those little Excelsior cutouts up on stand here. Shoulders on a ball joint, they're going to come up that far. You can do a full 360. There is an upper bicep swivel. There is a double jointed elbow, swivel and a hinge on the wrist. Decent ab crunch going forward and back. It's hindered a little bit by the jacket. T-joint at the pelvis. Legs going to come up that far. A split will look like that. Upper thigh swivel, double jointed knee. You get a hinge on the foot, and you also get an ankle pivot. So while this deco is somewhat new as far as the members only jacket, the lower body is that of one of Marvel Legends suited bodies, all parts that they've used before, and obviously the head sculpt is brand new. There he is side by side with Peter Parker and Spider-Man from the retro collection, so you can see how he looks next to Peter Parker. Like I said, the deco is just a little different between the two. Peter Parker has the sneakers on, Stan has the flat shoes, and that looks cool. A lot of different options with the buck that they use for Stan. There's the Norman Osborn head that came packed in with Green Goblin from the Retro Collection series. There's Goblin putting his mask on while taking it off. There's Chameleon in street clothes. There's Stan in a suit. And a bonus real quick, I think somebody had asked about this. So this is the head that came with the Cosmic Spider-Man, Peter with the beard here on the Peter Parker body from this Retro Collection series. This I like. This is the Peter Parker body with the Matt Murdock head on there. And for the record, it was very difficult to get this head onto the armored Daredevil body. I don't know why, but it does pop onto this body. It looks okay. Obviously, you're going to have a little bit of gappage towards the back, but you can tilt his head up to try to avoid that and tilt it down when you got him facing to the front. But I like this outfit for Matt. This looks like it suits him well. And there's a look at the Love Triangle 3-pack Cyclops head. This is the better of the two in the pack, but I guess if you wanted Cyclops with a more casual look with the shoes, seems more preppy for Cyclops, but I think that works. And there's a look at the old SDCC Stan Lee head. You can see that he has the regular glasses instead of the shades, but this head won't pop on the body. The peg hole is way too small, so that's not going to work, unfortunately. There's a look at the two side by side, so you can see the older one here on the left and a newer version here on the right. Definitely a much better job on this newer one. Wonder if I could get these glasses off and try to put them on the Peter Parker figure from the Retro Collection. I'm sure Hasbro still has the mold for these glasses, so they definitely can make a pair that don't look so goofy. And there's Steve Rogers. The head pops on there and the proportions look fine, but really we know that this body is way too slender for Cap, but it does pop on the body at least. The movie Steve Rogers probably looks better, even though it doesn't look like Chris Evans at all, but it's good for just some generic guy and a members only jacket. The head doesn't actually pop on there, so it's kind of loose, but proportions look good. Alright, I'm getting up out of here. Marvel Legends Stan Lee is a must own. If you call yourself a fan of Marvel Comics, then you definitely got to pick up this figure. We've been looking to get a fully articulated Stan Lee for quite some time, and as you can see, this one is great for doing some swaps and some kit bashes and things like that, but you definitely need one to rock, one to stock for this one. I got to get another one so I could keep it MOC, and that's what it's going to be. So I set up a little collage style, portrait style display here with Stan and all of the characters that he's been associated with or had a hand in bringing to you and me that I mentioned in the early part of this review. And yeah, just a quick tutorial and framing and white hot. This is literally just two pieces of white poster paper at the top and at the bottom, and a bunch of lights, some lights hitting the backdrop, some lights in the front of the setup, and one kind of overhead, one little cutout, and just time. Basically this took maybe over an hour to get everything right and framed up. When I do a shot like this, I always start with a centerpiece and just build outwards, so that way everything is symmetrical. So obviously Stan was the centerpiece here, and then I just built up around him with all of the characters that I needed. All right, thanks for hanging out. As always, rate, comment, and subscribe. Hit the bell down there, and until next time, peace.
That's crispy.